This conference will now be recorded.
This video is about creating snapshots of Azure Virtual Machine and Rollback. So the steps are here. So we have to create a VM and we have to log into a virtual machine. So I already created a virtual machine and I am taking the IP address and I am doing a remote desktop session to the virtual machine. So we can see that this VM, I created some files here in the desktop. So now next step is I am going to take a snapshot of the disk. So in the VM, I am selecting my disk. So I am selecting going to the disk. Then I am going to take a snapshot of the disk. So in this VM, I am having only one disk. I can see my disk is here. So I am going to click on this disk, and then I can identify the disk, and then I am going to take the snapshot of the disk. So it is showing the properties of the disk, and in the top I will get the option for taking the snapshot. So I am creating snapshot from here, and I have to just give a name for that snapshot. So I am giving a name for this, giving test snapshot 1, and I am not changing anything. I am giving create snapshot. So it will be taking 2-3 minutes to create a snapshot. So I can go and search here snapshots. We can see the snapshot will come here. So it will be taking some time. So I am just pausing this video.
This conference will now be recorded.
So now we can see a snapshot is created now. So now what I am trying to do, I am going to delete some files from here. So after this, I can recover this from the snapshot. So I deleted some file. Now I am going to do rollback. So for doing rollback, I am going to click on disk, and I am going to create a new disk. So the next step is, so I am going to create a new disk. I am going to create, and the source I am going to select as my snapshot. So I am going to the disk. I can see the original disk will be here. This is the operating system disk for VM1. So I am going to add or create a new disk, but at this time I am not going to create a empty disk. So this source I am going to select as my snapshot.
This conference will now be recorded.
So I am going to create a disk now, and here I am giving the disk name as a new disk, and here the region. So I created the VM in East US, and here my source type I am going to select as snapshot. So we can see the snapshot name will come here. So the snapshot is coming. So now we can, if we want, we can change the size. So default it is taking 1023 GB. So I am going to select 128 GB. So then I am going to create a VM, create a disk I am going to create. So I am going to click on review and create. So after this I am creating now. It will be taking some time. So I am going to click on create. So it will take 2 3 minutes to complete. So I am pausing the video. So we can see the disk is created now, and so I created a disk, and a source I selected as my snapshot. So next step is I am going to stop the VM. So this disk is created now. We can see that disk details. A new disk is created now. So next step is I am going to stop the VM. So this is the details about the new disk. And I am going to the virtual machine again. So what I am trying to do is, now I am going to do is, I am going to stop the VM, and the original disk I am going to change or replace with the a new disk. So I am going to the VM, and I am going to stop the VM now. So I am clicking on stop here. So I am going to stop the VM now. So now I stopped the virtual machine. Now I am clicking on disk. We can see the original disk is showing here. So now I stop the VM. So I am going to replace the original disk of the VM with a new disk. So for that I am going to use some PowerShell commands. So I installed PowerShell and I am going to log into this Azure RM account. I already logged in. So I am going to give some commands. So first command I am giving. And again I am giving this second command. So we have to give this resource group name and VM name. So I have to check the disk name. So the previously I created a disk, so that name I have to verify. So I am going to disk and I am checking the disk name. So previously I created a new disk. I want to check the name of the disk. So the disk name is new underscore disk. So I have to change this. So in this I am going to change this. So then I am going to give this command. So next I am going to change the disk now. So now I am going to do this update command. So we can see that the disk will be replaced with the new disk. So after this we can start the VM and we can see that we are completed the snapshot rollback after this step. So it is maybe sometimes will take some time. So I am pausing the video. Now this step is completed now. Now we can see that we can go to the VM. So I created the VM. So I am going to the VM now. The existing VM I am going, and we can see that one important step is we can check. So now I can start the VM now. But before that I am just verifying the disk of this server. So I am going to click on this disk. So we can see that the original disk of the VM is changed now. It is replaced with a new disk. We can see that from here. So we can see that disk detail from here. So I am clicking on disk now. So we can see the disk is changed with a new disk. So I changed the disk. I done this through the PowerShell. So I am now going to Overview tab. So then I am going to start the server, and I can log into the server. And sometimes, and before I deleted some file, we can see that it will now we can recover that files. So now this VM is in stopped state. So I am going to start the VM now. So it will take some time. So I am pausing the video again. So I started the VM now. Now I am going to log into this VM. So we can see that I deleted some file before. So it will be recovered now. So we can see that the deleted files are here. So these are all the steps we are going to uh, do snapshot and rollback. So these are all the steps here, and thanks for watching.